What does it really mean to be a high-value woman? It's not about how you look, how much you give, or how long you've been with a man. It's about how you see yourself and how you carry yourself in every aspect of life. See, the biggest mistake women make in relationships is believing that love is about convincing someone to choose them. They think that if they do more, give more, or love harder, a man will see their worth and commit. But here's the truth. You don't chase, you attract. A high-value woman doesn't sit around wondering if she's enough for a man. She doesn't constantly analyze his texts, his actions, or his level of interest. She walks into a room already knowing she's enough. She moves through life with the deep, unshakable belief that she is the prize. And let me tell you something. Men can feel that energy. Men are wired to recognize value. Think about the most expensive luxury brands in the world, whether it's high-end cars, designer fashion, or fine jewelry. These brands don't chase customers. They don't beg people to buy from them. They present themselves as exclusive, and as a result, people desire them even more. That's exactly how a high-value woman operates. But let's take it even deeper. A high-value woman doesn't just understand her worth, she embodies it in her actions. She has standards. She doesn't tolerate disrespect. She doesn't make excuses for bad behavior. She doesn't shrink herself to make a man feel comfortable. And because of that, men don't just like her, they become obsessed with her. Now, some women hear this and say, but what if I hold my standards and he leaves? And that right there is where so many go wrong. A high-value woman isn't afraid of losing a man who doesn't meet her standards because she knows she'll never truly lose the right one. She knows that being chosen isn't the goal. The goal is to be cherished. She isn't interested in just having a relationship. She wants the right relationship. And if a man isn't stepping up, she doesn't beg, she doesn't plead, she doesn't lower her value. She simply walks away with grace and confidence, knowing that the right man, the one who truly sees her, will step up without hesitation. But here's the thing, this mindset isn't about playing games. It's not about pretending to be confident or acting like you don't care. True high-value energy comes from genuinely loving your life, with or without a man. It's about having passions, friendships, goals, and a sense of fulfillment that exists outside of a relationship. Men are drawn to women who radiate joy, confidence, and self-respect. Have you ever noticed that when a woman is truly happy, when she's thriving in her own life, suddenly men start paying more attention? It's not a coincidence. That energy is magnetic. And this is where most women get stuck. They pour all their energy into making a man happy, thinking that's the way to win his love. But a high-value woman flips that script. She focuses on making herself happy first, and that's what makes a man want to be a part of her world. Because the truth is, men don't commit to women they need, they commit to women they fear losing. And the only way a man will fear losing you is if he knows deep down that you will walk away the moment you feel undervalued. This is what separates a high-value woman from everyone else. She doesn't beg for love. She doesn't try to force a man to see her worth. She doesn't waste time proving herself. She just is. And that alone is enough. Men don't marry women who convince them. They marry women who inspire them, who challenge them, and who make them feel like they found someone truly rare. And that kind of power doesn't come from looks, money, or effort. It comes from who you are at your core. So the real question is, are you willing to step into that power? Are you ready to stop chasing, stop proving, and start embodying the energy of a woman who is already enough? Because the moment you do, You won't just attract a man, you'll attract the right man, and he won't just want to be with you, he'll beg to marry you. Feminine energy is one of the most misunderstood forces in relationships. Many women think being feminine means being passive, submissive, or weak. They associate it with being overly emotional, needy, or dependent on a man. But true feminine energy is none of those things. It is one of the most powerful magnetic forces on earth, and when a woman learns how to harness it, she becomes completely. So what exactly is feminine energy? It is flow, intuition, and presence. It is the ability to create, to nurture, to inspire, and to connect on a deep emotional level. It is not something you do, it is something you embody. It is the essence of who you are when you are relaxed, open, and in your natural state of receiving rather than chasing or forcing. In today's world, women have been conditioned to embrace their masculine energy. Go, 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 hustle, achieve, control. And while masculine energy is important in certain areas of life, especially in careers and business, it can create imbalances in relationships. Why? Because relationships thrive on polarity. The stronger the contrast between masculine and feminine energy, the stronger the attraction. Men by nature are drawn to feminine energy because it is the opposite of their own. When a woman is deeply connected to her feminine side, she becomes a source of warmth, softness, and inspiration. She brings a sense of peace, joy, and depth into a man's life. She makes him feel in a way that no one else does. But here's the problem. Many women are stuck in their masculine energy when it comes to relationships. They take on the role of the pursuer rather than the receiver. They initiate, they plan, they control the pace of the relationship, and in doing so, they take away a man's natural drive to chase, to win, and to commit. A woman in her feminine energy does not chase. She does not convince a man to choose her. She does not force or push for a relationship to move forward. Instead, she leans back and allows things to unfold naturally. She trusts that if a man truly wants her, he will show it through his actions. And if he doesn't, she doesn't panic. She simply continues living in her radiant energy, knowing that the right man will step up without being asked. One of the most powerful aspects of feminine energy is receptivity. This doesn't mean passively waiting for a man to do everything, but it does mean allowing yourself to receive his effort, his love, and his pursuit. Too often, women block this by taking over, doing too much, or feeling uncomfortable letting a man lead. Think about it like a dance. In ballroom dancing, the man leads, but that doesn't mean the woman is powerless. She moves with grace, with confidence, and with trust that he will guide her. She doesn't yank him around or try to control every step. She flows, she follows, she allows. And that's exactly how feminine energy works in relationships. Another key element of feminine energy is emotional depth. Men don't fall in love with what you do for them. They fall in love with how you make them feel. A woman who is deeply connected to her emotions, who expresses herself authentically, who isn't afraid to be vulnerable, that's the woman who captures a man's heart. But vulnerability doesn't mean being weak or overly emotional. It means being open, expressive, and unafraid to show who you truly are. Many women try to suppress their emotions out of fear of being too much or too needy. But the truth is, when a woman is in tune with her emotions, she brings out something deep and primal in a man. She creates a space where he feels safe to open up, to be himself, to connect on a level that goes beyond the physical. Feminine energy is also about playfulness and joy. One of the most attractive things about a feminine woman is her ability to be lighthearted, spontaneous, and full of life. Men are drawn to women who radiate happiness because it makes them feel good to be around them. When you embrace your playful, carefree side, you create an energy that is intoxicating. But the most important part of feminine energy, self-trust. A feminine woman doesn't overanalyze, overthink, or question everything. She trusts her intuition. She knows when to lean in, when to pull back, and when to walk away. She doesn't need to control everything because she trusts that things will unfold exactly as they should. And this is where the real power comes in, because when a woman fully embraces her feminine energy, she doesn't have to do anything to make a man want her. He feels it. He senses her presence, her confidence, her radiance, and he can't help but be drawn to her. Have you ever noticed how people instinctively want what they can't easily have? Whether it's an exclusive VIP event, a luxury handbag with a long waiting list, or a rare piece of art, scarcity increases perceived value. This principle isn't just true in business or marketing. It's deeply wired into human psychology, and it plays a massive role in relationships. The same way a rare diamond is valued more than a common rock, a woman who understands her value and refuses to be endlessly available will naturally attract more commitment from a man. Yet so many women unknowingly make themselves too accessible, and in doing so, they lower their perceived value in a man's eyes. When a woman is always there, always texting first, always making plans, always accommodating a man's needs, she removes the element of scarcity. She becomes predictable, and predictability kills excitement. There's no urgency for him to step up, because in his mind, she's always going to be there. And when something is always available, it's taken for granted. Men are hunters by nature. They are wired to pursue, to conquer, to work for what they want. When something comes too easily, it doesn't trigger the part of their brain that makes them value and appreciate it. But when a man senses that he could lose something valuable if he doesn't act, it ignites a powerful emotional response. The problem is, many women fear creating scarcity. They worry that if they pull back, he will lose interest. They believe that if they're not constantly proving their worth, a man will forget about them. But the truth is the exact opposite. The less available you are, the more he values your presence. Now, let's be clear. Creating scarcity doesn't mean playing games. It's not about pretending to be busy when you're not. It's not about ignoring him to manipulate his emotions. Real scarcity is about genuinely living a life that is so full, so exciting, and so fulfilling that a man recognizes he's only one part of it. A woman who has high perceived value is not easily accessible, not because she's pretending, but because she truly has a life that she loves. She has her own priorities, her own goals, her own passions. She doesn't drop everything the moment a man calls. She doesn't rearrange her schedule just to fit into his. She holds firm boundaries, and because of that, she is respected, desired, and cherished. Scarcity is also created when a woman is willing to walk away. This is one of the most powerful things a woman can do. The moment a man realizes that he could actually lose you, his entire perception shifts. Suddenly, he sees you as someone he must win over, not someone who is just there waiting for him. But many women struggle with this. They tolerate bad behavior, half-hearted effort, and inconsistency because they're afraid of losing the man they want. They believe that if they just wait a little longer, if they just give a little more, he'll finally step up. But what actually happens? The more she tolerates, the less he values her. The more she waits, the more he drags his feet. A woman who understands her value doesn't wait around for a man to decide if she's worth it. She knows she's worth it, and because of that, she expects to be treated accordingly. If a man isn't showing up fully, if he's keeping her in the gray area, if he's not making her feel special, she doesn't beg for his attention. She removes her presence. That's the moment he wakes up. That's the moment he starts to wonder, what if she moves on? What if another man sees what I've been taking for granted? And suddenly, she's no longer just an option. She becomes a necessity. But here's the key. This only works when a woman genuinely means it. If she's only pretending to walk away as a tactic, but deep down she's still waiting for him to chase, he will sense it. Men can feel when a woman is bluffing. True scarcity is created when a woman's mindset is, I deserve the best, and if you can't give it to me, someone else will. Creating scarcity is also about keeping a sense of mystery. One of the biggest mistakes women make is oversharing too soon, revealing every detail about themselves in the first few weeks or months. But attraction thrives on a bit of unpredictability. A man should feel like there's always more to discover about you, that he hasn't completely figured you out. Think about it. When a TV series reveals every plot twist in the first episode, the audience loses interest. But when there's suspense, when there's something left to unfold, people keep coming back for more. The same is true in relationships. A man should feel like he's still uncovering new layers of you, even years into the relationship. Scarcity is also reinforced by the way a woman values herself in everyday interactions. A high-value woman doesn't chase. She doesn't initiate every conversation. She allows space for a man to invest in her. If he wants to see her, he makes the plans. If he wants to talk to her, he reaches out. She doesn't need to remind him of her existence. Her absence does that for her. But the most powerful form of scarcity, emotional self-sufficiency. A woman who is emotionally independent, who doesn't need a man to make her feel whole, is one of the most attractive forces in the world. She radiates confidence. She exudes a quiet power that makes a man realize he has to give his absolute best if he wants to keep her. And when a man finally understands that a woman like this won't wait around forever, he doesn't just want her, he fears losing her. That's when he stops hesitating. That's when he steps up. That's when he decides that he must make her his before someone else does. A man may be drawn to a woman's beauty, fascinated by her energy and captivated by her presence, but what makes him stay? What makes him look at her and say, she's the one? It's not just attraction, it's not just chemistry, it's something deeper, emotional safety. See, most women believe that men commit based on logic. They think if I do this for him, if I show him how much I care, if I prove I'm the perfect girlfriend, he'll choose me. But men don't fall in love through logic, they fall in love through feeling. A man might date a beautiful woman, he might enjoy spending time with her, but if she doesn't make him feel safe, he won't fully open his heart. And if a man doesn't feel emotionally safe, he will always hold back. He may stay in the relationship, but he won't fully invest. He won't feel that deep, undeniable urge to commit for life. So what is emotional safety? It's the space where a man feels like he can be himself, without judgment, without fear, and without pressure. It's the feeling that no matter what happens in the outside world, whether he's struggling with work, feeling uncertain about his future, or just having a bad day, he can come to you and feel at peace. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean being his therapist, fixing his problems, or carrying his emotional burdens. Emotional safety isn't about solving his issues. It's about creating an environment where he feels free to express himself without fear of being criticized, controlled, or shamed. Most men live in a world where they feel pressure to be strong, successful, and in control at all times. Society tells them they have to be the provider, the leader, the protector. And because of this, many men keep their emotions locked away. They don't share their fears. They don't talk about their struggles. They don't express their vulnerabilities because in their mind, showing weakness is dangerous. But every man, no matter how tough, how independent, or how successful, has a deep need to feel seen, heard, and understood. And the woman who gives him that, the woman who makes him feel like he can let his guard down and still be respected, still be admired, still be the man, that's the woman he never wants to lose. One of the biggest mistakes women make is reacting to a man's emotions with judgment or control. When he's distant, they panic. When he's quiet, they assume he's losing interest. When he's struggling, they try to fix him. But what men need isn't someone to solve their problems. They need someone who can hold space for them, someone who makes them feel safe, even in their silence. Emotional safety is built in moments of trust. It's built in the way you respond when he opens up. If a man shares something vulnerable and a woman reacts with judgment, anger, or criticism, he will shut down. He will stop sharing. He will start pulling away. Not because he doesn't care, but because he no longer feels safe in the connection. On the other hand, when a man sees that he can express himself without fear, when he realizes that a woman is there to support, not control, to understand, not criticize, he attaches to her in a way that goes beyond logic. He feels something rare, something powerful, something that makes him say, I can't imagine my life without her. But let's take it deeper. Emotional safety isn't just about how you handle his emotions, it's about how you handle your own. A woman who is reactive, overly emotional, or unpredictable creates an environment of instability. If a man feels like he has to walk on eggshells, if he feels like anything he says could trigger a negative reaction, he won't feel safe. And if he doesn't feel safe, he won't fully commit. This is why self-awareness and emotional mastery are so important. A high-value woman knows how to manage her emotions. She doesn't explode when she's upset. She doesn't use guilt, manipulation, or drama to get her way. She communicates in a way that is calm, clear, and confident. She sets boundaries without hostility. And this is what separates her from the rest. Most women react out of fear, fear of losing a man, fear of being hurt, fear of not being enough. But a woman who is emotionally grounded, who doesn't let fear dictate her actions, who can express herself with grace and strength, that's the woman a man trusts with his heart. Another key to emotional safety, respect. A man cannot fully love a woman he doesn't feel respected by. Respect doesn't mean blind agreement. It means valuing his opinions, appreciating his efforts, and seeing the man he is, not the man you wish he would be. Too many women fall into the trap of trying to change a man. They criticize, they compare, they constantly push him to be better. But here's the truth. Men don't commit to women who make them feel not enough. They commit to women who make them feel like a king, even as they grow together. But respect isn't just about words. It's about actions. It's in the way you talk to him, the way you listen, the way you handle disagreements. A woman who belittles, nags, or controls destroys emotional safety. A woman who supports, encourages, and uplifts creates it. And here's the magic. When a man feels safe, he naturally steps up. He naturally wants to protect, to provide, to commit. He doesn't feel forced, he feels inspired. Because the deepest desire of any man is to be with a woman who makes him feel like the best version of himself. This is the level where commitment happens, not because of pressure, not because of logic, but because he feels something so powerful, so undeniable that he has to claim it. Because in a world where men rarely feel understood, the woman who gives him that feeling, she's not just an option, she's the one.